Some stormy weather rolls across southern Wisconsin. We'll take a look at the latest threats.
A look back at last night's election results and the big win for Susan Crawford. Political reporter Will Keneally looks at what's next.
And a sure sign of spring coming soon. How the UW will celebrate the return of the Sunburst chairs to the Union Terrace. You're watching News 3 Now at 5. A rainy Wednesday across southern Wisconsin. Our weather team watching closely to see what threats remain.
Meteorologist Blaze Keller is here with the latest on the forecast. Blaze?
We still have some showers pushing through at least now western parts of Wisconsin. We did have a little shower activity moving through Dane County. That's beginning to push more into parts of Dodge as well as Jefferson County. The weather today, I think the best analogy is Mom asked you to set out the chicken to defrost in the morning, and we did it 5 minutes before she's coming home. We have the chicken. We can make a meal. It's just going to be a little bit harder for us to maybe get that chicken fully defrosted by the time we want to eat. Because we have late day clearing, we're getting a little bit more energy out near Platteville right now across western parts of our forecast area. That's why we still have this marginal risk for severe weather. But we held off until really the last possible minute. Temperatures now are beginning to get where they should have been earlier this afternoon, into those 60s, even some 70s popping up around Prairie du Chien, but it's 46 in Camp Douglas, 54 in Watertown. Dew points, they could stand to be a little bit higher into those 60s. And the energy, it's there, but it's not really as energetic as I'd like it to be. I want to see more of those yellows, those oranges to get that severe weather. So again, we took the chicken out maybe 5 minutes before Mom is getting home, and she asked us to do it in the morning so we could have this nice meal on time. We could still have a nice meal. We could still get a thunderstorm or two. We're watching it through about 7, 8 o'clock tonight. But I would say our threat is not as great as what it could be. So we're going to continue to watch this, and we'll talk about more rain chances in the full forecast.
All right, Blaze. Thank you so much.
Well, we've been trying to figure out what's going on with the severe weather all day. Meanwhile, some parts of the state, remember a year ago when Evansville, about this time of the year, it was in February last year, right?
That's right.
Well, they have done some ways to deal with severe weather. Tanisha Shaw has the latest from Rock County.
Hi, Eric, and hi, Susan. Yes, as you said, I'm here in Rock County in Evansville. Eric, as you just said, last year, about 5 tornadoes in a total of, if we're looking back 12 months ago, hit this area. And it's because of days potentially like today where severe weather is hitting. I talked to emergency management, and they told me that because of the tornadoes that happened and all the severe weather incidents that Rock County dealt with over the past year, that they are more aware, in that when residents are hearing these alerts, and even if the sirens go off, that they're coming up with plans. Today, like I said, I talked to emergency management in Rock County, and I asked them what should they do if severe weather comes and where should they go.
When those sirens sound, have a place to go. In Rock County, all 40 of our tornado sirens sound at the same time. And they're designed for outdoor warning. So folks should seek another source of information so they can make informed decisions on when it's safe to stop sheltering. If those sirens sound or you get an alert on your phone, hopefully that's enabled, folks should go to the basement if they have a basement. If they don't, they should move to the inside of their house on the lowest floor possible, preferably in a room without windows so they can seek shelter there.
And again, like you said, make sure you find that safe space, whether it's in your basement or in the most inner part of your home. But it's also important to know that when you're in there, you need the essentials to make sure that you're staying safe. So things like your cell phone, water, and more. I'll have all on what you would need to bring to your safe space tonight at 6 p.m. Reporting in Evansville, Tanisha Shaw, News 3 Now.
We will see you at 6, Tanisha. Thank you. This just in, Madison Metro Transit General Manager Justin Sturenberg will step down on May 30th after 5 years in the position. Mayor Satya Rhodes Conway praised his leadership while Metro faces ongoing challenges, including bus driver safety concerns and union negotiations. Madison Park Superintendent Eric Knipp will serve as interim GM as a national search begins.
A Madison man facing charges after allegedly attacking a Metro driver Sunday night. Police responded to the area of East Washington Avenue at 4th Street about 8 o'clock last night. The suspect was taken to a local hospital. Now, this is the third reported attack on a Metro driver this year. Metro Transit says it's reviewing the incident and looking at ways to improve driver safety. Metro Transit has released a statement regarding the incident, saying in part, quote, staff will start working on putting together an incident review board made up of drivers, supervisors, and other union reps to review each of these recent events.
A barn and a machine shed are considered a total loss after a fire just west of Madison early this morning. Dispatchers say the call came in around 5:30 on County Highway P near St. Mary Pine Bluff Catholic Church. No injuries were reported, and a cost estimate for the damages has not been made. The fire was knocked down around 3 hours after the initial call, and across Plains, firemen told us dozens of trucks rushed to the scene. UW police responded to disruptions at UW-Madison's Memorial Union yesterday. Multiple people disrupted a ticketed event despite repeated warnings. UW PD escorted them out, detaining 3 people before releasing them. Meanwhile, an unrelated disturbance happened on Library Mall when a car drove onto the area. The driver was arrested for disorderly conduct and traffic violations, but no injuries were reported.
A 63-year-old Mazomanie man was arrested early today in Middleton for his 11th OWI offense. Just after 1 a.m., a Middleton officer stopped the driver on University Avenue after he failed to dim his high beams. The man admitted to drinking, and a breath test showed a 0.11 blood alcohol level, which is over the 0.08 limit in Wisconsin. He's taken to the Dane County Jail and is being held on a tentative 11th OWI charge. Last night, the eyes of the nation were on Wisconsin, in particular that race for state Supreme Court.
The results of that race, which became the most expensive judicial race in history, means that liberals will maintain a majority on the bench. Political reporter Will Keneally has more on how we got here. Will?
That's right. So I want to first touch on, it was a 10-point victory. We're comparing this to a couple of different elections in the past. So last Supreme Court election that we had here in Wisconsin was 2 years ago. That was conservative Dan Kelly. That was an 11-point victory by the liberals in that race. So this map shows how the change happened between 2 years ago to what we saw last night. You can see it shaded basically all over the state a little bit pink. That shows a little bit of an improvement for Brad Schimel, the conservative, last night in that race over 2 years ago. It's across statewide, but just by a slim margin, and that accounts for that 11-point victory for liberals 2 years ago to the 10-point victory last night. Let's take you over here, though. This represents where we were last November with President Donald Trump, his election here in Wisconsin, compared to what we saw last night. So all of this blue shaded area, that's where liberals overperformed from last November to last night. And now, again, that's a key to where the ground game is that we've been seeing. And we checked in with the state Democratic Party chair, Ben Wickler, about how that ground game turned out.
The Republican strategy was to drive up turnout. It was to energize people by saying that if you voted for Brad Schimel, you would be able to advance Trump's agenda. Well, they got a lot of votes. They got enough votes to win the 2023 Supreme Court race, but they were fighting the last war. The reality is that this country has changed fast.
Now, there's one other thing I want to show you here when we talk about the turnout, just the raw numbers. So if we take a look at last night's election, it's traditionally a low turnout election in April, but we saw significant turnout last night. So if we look at the raw numbers, these are just the number of people punching a ballot for each candidate. If we compare the number of people punching that ballot for Susan Crawford, around 1.3 million. If we take that back to 2022, last time a Democrat was on the ballot with Tony Evers here, that was 1.3 million as well, with about a 50,000 vote difference. So Democrats are able to mobilize those voters at almost the same levels as the gubernatorial race in this off-year election here.
A lot to unpack. Will, thank you. We officially have a winner in the Spirit of Service campaign as News 3 Now and Vortex recognize local veterans doing something good in the community. 206 total nominations were narrowed down to these top 5 veterans, and after sharing their stories, our News 3 Now viewers voted in record numbers. 2,747 total votes were cast for Spirit of Service over the course of 2 weeks this year. Megan Nolan came out on top after receiving over 1,000 of those votes. Today, Nolan received her $5,000 check presented by Vortex. She plans to use it to transform a building into the only licensed before and after school program for their rural community of Rib Lake in northern Wisconsin. And here's what she had to say on the morning show today.
My husband, my kids, they're huge support. I wouldn't be able to do that without them, my family, and then all of you. This is not just a little, this is huge. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Megan, and congratulations to all of our top 5 veterans for their continued service, as well as all veterans doing something good.
Very, very deserving group. Well, spring is here. Madison's iconic Union Terrace Chairs will return April 16th with a Terrace Chair Party on April 18th from 3 to 6 in the afternoon. The celebration will feature DJ Margot and the UW Marching Band as well. The Wisconsin Union's festival season kicks off soon with free concerts in late May and free movie screenings in June as well. The lineups will be announced in May.
It's time of the year, almost here. Our weather team updates us next with the complete forecast as storms are making their way across the area.
And how hundreds of passengers are dealing with a norovirus outbreak on a transatlantic cruise. An update next. And on Wall Street, positive numbers. The Dow Jones climbs 235 points today. The Nasdaq up 151. S&P 500 adds 38. We'll be right back.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5. Moving forward.
More than 240 people on board a Cunard luxury cruise ship have gotten sick with norovirus, a highly contagious stomach bug. The Centers for Disease Control and Protection started reporting this outbreak aboard the Queen Mary 2. The CDC said infected passengers have been quarantined. The ship's crew has increased cleaning on board. The outbreak comes on the heels of the worst year for cruise ship-based gastrointestinal outbreaks in over a decade. That's according to CDC data.
The Wisconsin Film Festival kicks off this week in Madison, running from April 3rd to April 10th. And among the many films featured is A Road at Night. It's a powerful documentary telling the story of former UW Badgers coach Howard Moore and the devastating drunk driving crash that changed his life. In 2019, a wrong-way driver hit Moore's car, killing his wife, Jennifer, and daughter, Jaden, while severely injuring Moore and his son. The film explores Moore's resilience, recovery, and lasting impact he's had on the Badger community.
We hope that by seeing this film, people will think twice when they jump in their car. They'll be willing to grab the keys from their friend. They'll be willing to call an Uber or a Lyft. And then everyone can get home safely.
Through emotional interviews and personal reflections, the film sheds light on Moore's journey and the lasting effects of that tragic night. Tickets are still available for this film that will air at the Barrymore Theater this Sunday. That's one a lot of people should go and see.
Very emotional story.
Full look at the forecast now. Blaze is still keeping a close eye on the radar to see what's popping out there.
That's right. Myself and Alex, we're watching these showers continue to move through parts of southern Wisconsin, still holding out that chance for severe weather through at least 8 o'clock tonight, because we're getting a little bit of late day energy here across parts of our viewing area. We lose the thunderstorm and shower threat as we go into your Thursday. We'll add back a little bit more sunshine, but we're going to stay breezy, and then those showers return as we go into your Friday. So we have a broken line of showers stretching from about Black River Falls all the way south into northern Illinois. We'll take it down to this cell out near Monroe. We're beginning to get a little bit of shower activity. That extends back south and west to South Wayne. Seeing those yellows, those oranges indicating heavier pockets of that rainfall. We then turn our attention back north to just outside of Dodgeville, stretching into Linden, south of Cobb, beginning to exit Mifflin. Mineral Point, this is likely going to move to our north. This is another shower that we're looking at as well. This has a little bit of hail with it. This is live looking into that shower on our Upland Hills Skycam directly into it. We're seeing the cloud base here, a little bit of rain right here falling. You can maybe see it there, but we're going to keep an eye on these showers. As I mentioned, there's just this little bit of late day energy moving back north into parts of southwestern Wisconsin. So areas here in the yellow, you're underneath the greatest environment for any of these showers to become thunderstorms, potentially severe thunderstorms as well. But the winds are very strong above the surface. So these showers and maybe thunderstorms are really quickly being pulled off towards the east. We're going to keep this marginal threat for severe weather through the rest of this evening. all modes of severe weather will be possible. We're going to keep that funnel possibility over the next hour or so, but then that will gradually become more of a straight line wind type threat as more of our winds come out of the same direction. And we'll of course keep a little hail threat as well because our temperatures are slightly cooler. We could see some hailstones developing as this line continues to make its way eastward. But as we make our way through the 5 and then the 6 o'clock hour, these showers and maybe thunderstorms, they're not a very cohesive line. There's broken little bits between them. So not everyone will see this shower and or thunderstorm activity this evening. By about 6:37 at the earliest, they're pushing into Milwaukee. Our severe threat pretty much ends at that point if they keep pace. Certainly by 8 o'clock, 9, they're pushing more into western Michigan. Our severe weather threat is over. We then deal with partly cloudy conditions overnight, and we stick with partly sunny conditions and breezy conditions into your Thursday as well. So when does our next round of rain return? Well, that's going to be starting later Friday afternoon into your Friday night, wrapping up into the morning hours on Saturday. And then we'll see another round of showers potentially as we go to end the weekend to kick off our next work week. So let's jump ahead to Friday. We see that rain activity off towards the northwest and across the southeast as well. We may see some of that shower activity enter into central and southern parts of our viewing area, but we're not expecting any severe weather with that shower activity later Friday into your Saturday. Temperatures, on the other hand, staying in the 50s through at least the weekend, low 50s that is. It's going to be breezy. It's that time of year where we just get a little temperature difference and we get those breezy conditions. And then we start to finally dry out as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday with some added showers maybe to round out next week.
All right, Blaze, thank you. Coming up, President Trump calls the rollout of tariffs Liberation Day. Economists also weigh in next at 5.
You're watching News 3 Now at 5, moving forward.
Welcome back. President Trump declares it Liberation Day as he rolls out tariffs to punish countries that tax U.S.-made goods.
But some economists warn that American consumers will be the ones who will pay the price, at least initially. Erica Brown has more from the White House.
President Trump is preparing to announce sweeping new tariffs on trading partners that tax U.S. goods.
The lack of reciprocity contributes to our large and persistent annual trade deficit that's gutted our industries and hollowed out key workforces.
Countries with the biggest trade deficits are expected to be impacted the most. That includes China, Japan, Brazil, and the European Union.
Too many foreign countries have their markets closed to our exports. This is fundamentally unfair.
Trump has labeled this Liberation Day because he says tariffs will restore American wealth. And after taking office, he signed an order to explore an external revenue service tasked with collecting tariffs and other foreign trade-related revenue. But critics say the tariffs will lead to higher costs for consumers.
This is not Liberation Day, it's Recession Day in the United States of America. That's what the Trump tariffs are going to do. Crash the economy.
And U.S. businesses that export their products overseas are expressing concern about retaliatory tariffs.
80% of the airplanes we deliver, the commercial airplanes we deliver, are outside of the United States. So free trade is very important to us.
The Trump administration's previously announced 25% tariff on all imported vehicles and auto parts goes into effect Thursday. Erica Brown, CBS News, the White House.
Bank of America analysts say Toyota, Hyundai, and Nissan will be impacted the most by the auto tariffs because they import more than 50% of their vehicles. General Motors imports about 49%, while Ford imports about 20% of its vehicles. We'll get a final check of the weather when we come back.
Parts of the country are getting prepared for a foot of rain. We're with emergency crews ready for what could be a 1 in 100 year flood.
And in tonight's Eye on America, the giant expense forcing American families into deep debt, funeral expenses. What you need to know. That's tonight on the CBS Evening News.
And then coming up at 6, some cuts are already planned after a failed school referendum in Dodgeville. What those cuts are, and we'll have a reaction from educators.
Now, the future of flight just touched down in Vermont. Beta Technologies has completed an historic coast-to-coast journey with its all-electric aircraft. Pilot Nathan Doobie and his crew flew across 20 states, making stops at iconic landmarks like the Grand Canyon and the New York skyline as well. Beta isn't slowing down. The Vermont-made planes will soon be delivering mail all the way to New Zealand. The company says just the beginning of a new era in aviation.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So what's the latest storm potential for tonight?
Still keeping an eye out for, I would say, the next couple of hours. Again, we have all the ingredients. We're just really late to start cooking, but we could still turn out a decent meal. We're still keeping an eye out. Showers continue to move across southern Wisconsin, mainly across Greene County right now, stretching from Evansville all the way back into extreme south and eastern parts of Lafayette County there. No lightning, but definitely some heavy rain. Eyeing a shower over Dodgeville right now as well. We still have that marginal risk. We could see hail, strong winds, as well as an isolated tornado. So stay with News 3 Now. Myself and Alex are going to be monitoring the radar until this clears on out of here by about 8, 9 o'clock tonight. Some showers do return to end the work week and kick off our weekend, but we're in the 50s through Sunday. A little bit cooler to start off next week, but we may climb back into those 50s by Thursday, 60s by that following Friday, and then maybe 70s again. That would be nice by that following weekend.
Always get that roller coaster this time of the year.
Yeah.
And
it's rough.
And still keeping an eye on things out there tonight, but wasn't quite as bad as we thought.
No, we call it kind of a bust day where we had everything and it just busted.
We'll take it.
Yeah, maybe that's a good thing.
We'll be back in 30 minutes for News 3 Now at 6. CBS Evening News is next.